Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm thrilled to be here today to have a chat with you. So just a reminder that Minecraft is all about here and changing your thinking and becoming the boss of your brain, because thoughts come first and feelings come second. And so basically thoughts dictate our lives. That's just it. That is it in a nutshell. Is it that simple? Yes. Easy? Not so much. That's why we have a lot of talks. Okay, so recently we've been talking about SLD, or self-love deficit. Staying away from the word disorder, because it's a dumb shame word, which makes us feel flawed and defective and broken, so that's just stupid. So today we're going to talk to whether you are sort of healing from SLD, or you're not, and it's not a thing for you. It doesn't matter, because what we're going to talk about today could really benefit anyone, and that's all about changing your story. Change your story. And I've just so many different examples of this, not just with me, but like with other, in my life. I've heard stories, all the way through at a Fabulous 57. I just have lots of stories to share with you, or examples. But the thing is, okay, here's one, because we often hang on to, let's say, bad things that happened to us early on. So-and-so creepy uncle, did inappropriate things to me when I was 5, and that's horrible. We're not saying that's horrible. We're not saying that's not horrible, and we're not saying that the creepy uncle gets a pass. No, of course not. However, when that's just one example, it could be, a sibling who was severely favored over you. It could be all kinds of things. The commonality with all that category of stuff is being a victim, and sometimes people really have a hard time shifting out of that story because they think they have power being a victim, because it feels like that, but it's an illusion. Just like we think we're powerful when we hang on to anger, also an illusion. We're actually giving up our power either way. And so it can be really tough to shift out of that, because here's the thing. We talked about habits, right? And the brain loves patterns. So whatever we run through our mind over and over and over again, positive or negative or anywhere in between, the brain's like, yeah, I get this. All right, we go down that way, this way, that way, and that way. Whatever it is that your thought process is. And so if you've been sort of running that feedback loop through your head for a really long time about, the whole story with whatever happened, the sequence of events that happened to you, again, not minimizing, not giving anybody a pass, that's not the point. We're talking about the dialogue. So the dialogue can go from regular dialogue, let's say, negative dialogue, amped up to like toxic, as in drinking turpentine for breakfast instead of OJ dialogue, all the shame stuff, into mega toxic, okay, which is when we actually internalize our story and make it part of our identity. That takes some more chiseling away at that. Here's the thing, it's never too late to do it. It just isn't. So we say simple and easy. Is it as simple as deciding to? Yes. You are in charge of your own story. So when we're a victim, we also have all that out here. Just like when we blame, it's very similar. It's just like when we blame people, we're talking about that. You got to stop it, because that, again, not giving anybody a pass, they could have been 100% wrong, and they were 100% wrong if you were a kid. So there you go. But when we have all the blame out here and everybody has victimized us outside of us, that means they're in charge of our destiny. Do you really want that? After everything they already took, do we want to give them more and give up our power on a platter? I don't think so. So we have to kind of stop doing that. So we talked about a strategy way back, and for those of you who might be new, way back, it was I did a 2-part episode on anxiety and tips and tricks to manage this. And this kind of thing isn't that different. So we talked about it with the anxious what-if thinking and catastrophizing, and also self-deprecating, all that. One of the tricks works with just running this feedback through our heads also, which is not today, maybe tomorrow. So when we start to have these victim thoughts and identifying with the story of being victimized and the bad relationship we were in, he did this to me and that to me and all that stuff, we can use that same trick, not today, maybe tomorrow. Not today, maybe tomorrow. Because it tricks the brain. Again, if some of you haven't watched that, you might want to, or listen to it, whatever, because there's more tricks for that. I call them party tricks, not to minimize, but to normalize. Anyway, so when we're running all those victim thoughts and kind of residing in that and getting this payoff, because remember, human beings don't do anything unless there's payoff in it, even if it's negative. So People who are chronic victimizers are getting payoff from that. It's poor me, what happened to me, and again, we're not saying it was okay what happened to you. However, you're residing in that place of powerlessness instead of empowerment. So when those thoughts start to happen, the only way to deal with it is to get a handle on your thought process. Just stop. So not today, maybe tomorrow. When we say not today, maybe tomorrow, we keep it up because expect the brain to really amp up when you start telling it no, just like a 2-year-old toddler. We talked about that in that episode. You have to keep up with it. And eventually, just like a 2-year-old toddler is not getting their M&Ms, you're saying no over and over and over again, they eventually get that you're in charge and not them. So that's kind of why the not today, maybe tomorrow thing works, because we put the brain off into thinking it has an appointment with you. So the next day when it says, hey, so-and-so, let's talk about all that. Oh, let's just talk about being a victim and how pleasurable that is and what this happened and that happened and that happened and this happened. And then again, you say, not today, maybe tomorrow. And that should work I don't want to use the word should. For many people, that will work like a charm. Remember the disclaimer, these videos are informational only, not meant to take the place of any kind of professional treatment. They can work really well as a complement to professional treatment. So spectrum of people who are victimizing, right? If you're way over here and you need professional treatment, or here in the middle and need professional treatment or whatever, then this could be a good complement to it. If somebody is kind of really in a place where they can't take all this in because they're in the midst of trauma and things like that, then definitely seek out the professional treatment. And this stuff won't really be accessible yet until you kind of land more here-ish on the spectrum. So that's just how that works. So informational only. So not today, maybe tomorrow can work for many, 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 many people. Yeah. And it's a great way to rid ourselves of the what-if thinking, the self-deprecating thinking, the any kind of thinking that we don't want. The overthinking works really, really well. So change our story. So that works with getting rid of those thoughts. Another quick example, maybe not so quick. I've got to keep it quick. I'm keeping these short. There's so many different stories, different categories of stories, I guess. And I'm thinking for me, I use myself with this one because I've, shared my story with lots and lots of people through talks, TED Talks, and lots of things. And for years, I really had trouble managing money for years. Not recently, but for years and years and years. I got so much shame for it, negative consequences in it. And I kept running that through my head. And then, through healing and, I really got a handle on it. It's been a while now, maybe like a decade and a half or maybe more than that even. But I have found myself, even on the healing track, it's not like, oh, healed, done, over, right? Because sometimes we see something, hear something. Sometimes the brain just comes up with something, right, from the vault. And even though I was kind of done with that and that story was old, it was still surfacing sometimes. I would hear phantom voices of my dad saying shaming things to me about money, or I'd have phantom thoughts about, messages on the machine, you forgot to pay this card and that card and everything, from so long ago. I'm like, wait, stop, go away, right? I have a new story. So there's the stopping the old story feedback loop, and there's also changing your mindset depending on what your story is. So for me with the money, I had to really work through the rest of it, my mindset stuff, and set intentions. So I set an intention, which is so important, every day in the Jeep. I've told you that. And so lately it's been, today my intention is to have a healthy and wealthy mindset. So healthy, okay, where I'm in divine health, that's what I'm telling myself. And grateful for my health and all of that. And with wealthy, I don't necessarily mean just money. I mean all of it. People mainly, okay, people, family and friends, and a house and vehicles working and computers working, because we need those for all that stuff. So not just money. I had to really change my thinking also with getting rid of blocks. So depending on what your story is, there can be all different things getting in the way of blocking you from developing, creating a new story. And so for me with the money thing is I realized that I also, separate from, or maybe separate or related, I'm not even sure, with my issue with managing it, I think somewhere in my head I thought it was bad to have a lot of money. Like, ooh, that's, so-and-so's not a good person. They're focused on money. It doesn't have to be your main motivation. We just know that the world operates on it, right? My thing is just do your passion. I do what I I'm kind of led around by that inner voice. We talked about that. I do my passion, right? And that's it. I did have to break through that though, because here's the thing: if you put it out there that you're a bad person, if you make lots of money, guess what's not going to happen to you? You're not going to make lots of money. That's just how it is. If you are constantly focusing on money, even if you're trying to get better with it, but now you're focusing and obsessing over, oh my gosh, I had to take $5 out of my savings account to put it back Tuesday, and there's all that kind of, oh no, I'm doing it again, or even if you're not, and it was just an authentic need to dip into your savings account because your water tank broke or something, I don't know. But I would just run these things through my head. I realized, no, got to stop that. Got to stop that. Got to change the mindset, open the door for the good stuff to come in, not just money or relate. If it's a relationship thing, you got to change your story with because you've had abusive ones in the past. You got to change your whole mindset, okay? And that last example would be one of working on the worthiness, which we've talked about the last 3 episodes. I am worthy. I am lovable. This is my new story. It doesn't matter who said what to me during, we're not saying, again, validated, but I'm done with that now. I know I'm valuable. I know I'm lovable. I know I am absolutely deserving of a partner who treats me like a goddess. I'm absolutely worthy of that. And work on it. And then remember, progress, not perfection. Because the vault or the unconscious mind drives the bus. There's a lot of stuff in there we can't really access. So I would say be really, really patient with yourself while you're changing, acquiring, creating, developing your new story. That if stuff kind of leaks up to the surface from the vault, just acknowledge with compassion, okay, it seems like there was a message from my old story. I'm just going to dismiss that because I am in the process, I am creating, I am developing as the author of my own script and play, okay? I am making my own new story. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to resist because that which resists persists. I'm just going to wrap around myself with compassion, hold whatever that is and send it out. Just pretend like you're sending it out into the galaxy, like gone, gone. I am making my new story. I'm the captain of my own ship. That's it. Okay. Change your story. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from very cold but sparkly Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.